Did you ever stop and think about what real deep down joy will do for you in your life and how it affects the body and how it affects the healing processes and the aging processes? Well, it's true. The amount of joy that we have in our life, the real deep down joy, determines a lot about how much energy we're going to have and how we can reduce stress. So, a method of reversing aging is to understand that joy has to come first. We have to learn how to practice and get into the habit of developing joy, even if we have to have certain periods of time during the day to actually concentrate on joy. To get that, we have to get that joy, and that joy comes before energy and before stress reduction. And of course, getting that energy that produces the stress reduction then allows the healing processes to work better. When you get rid of the stress, then the healing can kick in. That's one of the reasons why you rest at night and you sleep and everything and you relax and all. That relaxation begins to put that stress to the sidelines so that the body can begin to recuperate itself. And so we have the joy, then we get that produces the energy, which reduces the stress, which allows healing to come, and then all these things work together to reverse the aging process that would normally take place. If you've got all these things such as unhappiness, depression, and stress and strain and everything else that goes unchecked, that is never really learn how to reduce. You just allow them to just keep building up in you. Then that speeds up the aging process in all kinds of ways, and that also speeds up the inflammation in the body and the other things which go to add to and help along the formation of disease. And so it's very important that we understand how that if we want to have more energy in our life and we really want to destroy the effects of disease and begin to reverse the aging process in every way possible, and that we have to have we have to understand and get a real, true understanding of what real joy means. We're told over and over to go ahead and rejoice. Rejoice evermore, I believe it says. Rejoice and without praying without ceasing, rejoicing without ceasing, rejoicing evermore, being alert to always maintain joy, and in everything that you do, and don't worry or fret not, and don't worry about tomorrow, and all these kinds of things are intended. It's really a healing affirmations is what all these statements really are. They're really intended as healing affirmations. That if you rejoice evermore, and in everything rejoice, and in everything give thanks, and all these things, that's a healing affirmation because it goes to produce more joy in your life, which in turn goes to reduce the stress that produces the aging process and the healing, the inflammation and everything else that goes into creating the disease processes. So by starting at the right place and continuing, to practice these things and understand these methods, we go a long ways towards reducing the disease from happening in the first place, and then we go a long ways in healing the diseases that are already taking place, and we go a long ways in reducing all the strain on our body that goes to produce the aging processes, and we slow down those aging processes that are already taking place. And of course, we want to do that. We want to slow it down until we want to at least slow it down until we can figure out how to stop it altogether. It may take a while to get into enough understanding and practice enough and get enough joy going and enough understanding of how all these processes work to to totally stop the aging process, but we can at least learn how, in the meantime, we can at least learn how to slow it down some. And so these are the methods, and I'm going to be giving a whole lot of methods as to how to slow down and actually reverse the aging process. It's not that you reverse your chronological age or go back and be a teenager or anything like that, but it's reversing the damage. I'm talking about reversing the damage that is caused by the cumulative effect of all of those stresses and strains and times of lack of energy, times of unhappiness, times of depression, and all those things, which are all go together to begin to create those effects in the body, which their cumulative effect is to cause the aging processes to speed up. All of those natural processes, or that we call natural, but are really unnatural. They're really unnatural because they're caused by all of these things which we actually do unknowingly to ourselves. And just like many people you see in various books and on various videos talk about how that aging is actually a disease. You know, and they'll say it like that. They'll say aging is a disease, and a disease can be cured, and so forth like that. But actually, the aging that people do is actually the cumulative effect of several different diseases going on at the same time. And it's also and those diseases are the cumulative effect of a lot of stress and a lot of inflammation caused by that stress, and a lot of strain, and a lot of worry, and a lot of fretting about things that we shouldn't be, and going against the things that we're told not to do, not to fret, not to worry, and we're not doing the things we are told to do, such as rejoicing evermore and being thankful in all things, being thankful, and all things be grateful, and be grateful for everything, and be happy all the time, and be rejoicing all the time. We're not doing those things which we're told to do, and the cumulative effect of that is to exacerbate and speed up the aging process. So if we want to slow down the aging process, then we need to back up and go back and look at what we're not doing, and also look at what we are doing, such as the stresses and the strains and the dissipation of the energy. We're dissipating our energy through spending too much time worrying about things in this life, and too much time not utilizing joy to dissipate that stress that we have gone through all during the day on our job and different places and different things that we've been involved in, and not doing the exercises to get rid of that stress. You know, whether you're using TM or something like that to get rid of the stress, or other types of yoga or other relaxation exercises, or just praying to God to relieve your stress. You got to go through some type of exercise to relieve that stress, and then allow the joy to come in. And then that joy will come in and increase your energy, and that energy will naturally destroy all the effects of that stress and get rid of it and begin to rebuild the body. That energy that becomes free to work thereby. As the joy reduces the stress, then the energy becomes free to work and do its actual good work that it needs to do in recuperating the body. And so these are methods that we can use, and it's just a relaxation exercise, that like TM or yoga or something like that, does a lot to reduce that stress itself, just in just those things alone. But then if we can get to the point where after we get in that relaxed situation through TM or yoga, or through praying, through asking God to relieve us of stress, that we also then follow it up with a deep form of joy, a deep down joy, a type of joy, and you'll know when it happens. It'll be a joy that seems to affect every cell of your body, and you seem to gleam everything from your eyes to your face to your whole body, your chest and your legs, and everything will seem to be beaming. All the cells all through your body will just seem to be shining like the sun, and you'll feel that joy. You'll feel that sense of a lightness in your step, a lightness in your mind, a feeling of relief, a feeling of a lifted burden, a feeling of just being on top of this world, as they say, happy in every way. And when you begin to receive that, know that that's doing all the good that it needs to do. You've got to the place where it does the good. It's doing the good. And so try to learn how you got there, and then try to learn how to continue it. Write it down in a journal, and so how I got here, how I got in this happy state, and then try to repeat it. Exercise it every day, trying to repeat getting into that happy mood that you got into, realizing all the good it is doing, and try to write down some notes about all the good it is doing, how it's making you feel, and know that even though you don't see a lot of the good that it's doing, because it's doing good on the inside of your body, that it actually is going in and relieving stress, it is going in and reducing inflammation, and it is making your cells dance in the spirit before God, and it is causing things to harmonize in your body, and it is relieving those disease processes. It is getting rid of them. It's destroying them. And you know that all this is going on. And that'll give you another reason for great joy. If you needed a reason to have great joy, that's a reason right there, knowing that joy, what all that joy is doing, and then you can just visualize all the poisons being washed out, all the disease processes being harmonized and coming together in harmony and love and joy, and just pushing out all the things that was causing disease, and all that just flowing out of you. And the inward, and what's flowing in its place is that great joy, like the rivers of living water that it spoke about in John 7:38. Just the rivers of living water just flowing all through you, and through all of the cells of your body, and relieving them all of the things that are causing ill effects. And that realizing that is going on, stop it, and you need to stop and take a certain amount of time just to stop and visualize and realize that all these things are going on, and just say, oh yes, I feel that great joy. I just feel great joy right now. I feel a joy that I'm beaming all over, and I know, because I'm feeling that joy, I know that all these things are going on inside. I know the harmony is being taking place more and more, and that makes me feel better. And I know that all these disease processes are harmonizing themselves, and all the poisons are washing out, and all those things that are in there causing those disease formations to start. All of that is stopping and being opposed and being pushed aside and pushed out. And in its place is a lot of healing and a lot of relief of stress, and a lot of new joys are going to begin to come to my mind and to my body because of that. And just see that and understand that is something that you can do. Say, this is something I can do. This is something I can do for myself. I don't have to go to a doctor and get medicine, certain types of drugs prescribed. I'm not saying the ones that you necessarily that the doctor prescribed. I say I don't have to always, over everything, go to a doctor and get a new drug prescribed in order to deal with every form of pain or every form of stress or strain, because this is something I can do for myself by gaining this joy, and I can gain this kind of joy that will begin to do some of these healings, some of this healing type of thing for myself. And that should give you real good joy, a lot of joy in itself, to realize that you have found something that will do, that you can do for yourself to help you feel better in the future. And so I'm going to pray right now that for everybody that needs to feel this, and that everybody that needs to feel this joy, and everybody that needs to feel this happiness, and everybody that needs to be healed of any disease, curable or incurable, that they will begin to understand how joy can wash those things out, and how joy can relieve stress, and how all this can go about to reduce the aging process. And I just pray that if anybody feels like they're down deep in the valley of hopelessness, or they're down deep, feeling a lot of blues and a lot of depression, that you would relieve them of all depression, oppression, or obsession of every kind, and you'll lift them up to the mountaintop now of joy and happiness, that real joy and happiness that'll go all through them and wash out everything, and that will deal with aging processes, and will wash all of those out, and that you will lift them up to a high mountain where all they can see is the happiness and joy to come in the future, and that they will be lifted up to a place where they can pray with joy, and they can rejoice with joy, and they can feel joy beaming all over their body. And now, dear God, I just just pray in the name of thy holy Son, Jesus. Heal all diseases, all infirmities, solidify people in their solid spiritual life, and bring them up out of all depression, oppression, and depression. For we ask all these things in the name of thy holy Son, Jesus. Amen, amen, and amen.